So we'll be coming up on the east side of the property in just a few hundred yards here. We're headed north on Marigold Drive, and the land will be on the left. It's actually the Barclay Conservation Area on the left right now. It doesn't border the south side of the property, but it's very close to it. And then this particular tract, tract 18, borders Marigold along its east side, borders the Niangua River, hard for me to say that word, along its west side, and then the conservation area is directly across the river, so over 400 acres of conservation land, which has a lot of positive points. No one's going to build there. It gives you access to additional land for hunting and recreation, river access, all kinds of good stuff. Additional river access, because you've got river access directly on your property. As we look to the north, that's tract 19 on the left. We're going to tract 18. So that'll be coming right up. It's really easy to spot it because you'll see this old garage or shed, part of an original homestead. That's just on the very edge of 19. And as soon as we pass it, well, you'll see that trail. We'll get to that in a minute, but we're going to stay on Marigold. As soon as we pass that, you can see the survey marker. That's the start of tract 18 on Marigold. So we're looking at the property. It's on the left side of the road as we look north on Marigold. I think what we'll do is we'll pull down a little bit, and then we'll back up and we'll take that trail. That trail is a road easement that crosses over the east side of these tracts. And the specific reason for that is so you can access the east side of your property without having to mess with putting a culvert in or a driveway or an approach off Marigold, because it does sit up above Marigold a little bit. So a lot of good frontage. Like I say, on Marigold on the east side, you're certainly welcome to put an approach and a culvert in if you want to do that. Wow, it's got a lot of frontage here. I think we just passed it. The northeast corner, that is. But if you didn't want to mess with doing an approach or whatnot, all you have to do is use this existing trail. You'll see, if you look on the maps, you'll see that there's some good access to various points of this property, the west side as well as the east side. So we're just going to back up. We'll take that little easement road. Hope I'm not making everybody sick with my driving, other than myself. Okay. There we go. Okay, so there's the shed. That's on 19, on the end of 19. But you do have an easement to use this trail that begins just on the edge of 19 and goes northerly. And now we're on 18. So that is a deeded easement. That's permanent. It's pretty handy to drive right onto the property without having to mess with, like I say, doing an approach or a culvert. Okay, so we're on 18. We're at about the southeast corner. I wanted to hop out really quickly to show you a couple things, but one of them is we've got a beautiful level area here. So that's the properties are fully surveyed, and actually the lines are marked. We've got T-posts every so often. There's one up by the road. So the truck is on 18. I'm actually standing on 19. So now we've just crossed back onto 18. Right here, you've actually got a large level area, not too far off the county road, good access to it. I mean, this is a beautiful spot for potential camping or building site or whatever. You've got setbacks, obviously, from the road. But I mean, this is looking really good. So this actually has one of the largest flat areas along the east side off of Marigold of any of these properties. This is some kind of old trail that we're walking on. This is not an easement. This is private trail on your property on tract 18. I don't know if my microphone can pick it up, but way off in the distance I can hear some machinery. That's the guys down at the riverfront clearing some stuff and opening up some sites right on the river. They might be on tract 18 actually. It got a little cloudy today, so I know this is everything's gonna look dark in the pictures, but that's okay. So there's been no prep work done to this area. If you were to spend a couple hours here and trim the grass and cut out some of the smaller trees, you would have a killer building site. This is private. We're already far enough back off the setbacks off the road. I mean, this is really nice. I actually had not walked this far. I knew there was a level spot because I could see it on the topo map, but this is better than expected. As we look westerly, the land does eventually start to slope down, and it slopes all the way until you start to get close to the river. And then I believe it levels off a little bit and then slopes down again to the water. But oh, here's something I did see, but I had forgotten about it. We saw this one of the very first times we were out here. You saw the garage, so you know that this is part of the old homestead. And actually, directly on Tract 18, we found something else that was interesting. Found an ancient concrete foundation. I know that about half of you are thinking, oh, who cares? And the other half are more like me, and they're like, wow, that's really interesting. Wonder what was on that. So this was clearly part of the original farmstead here. This is a fairly large foundation, actually. I have no idea how old it is, but bring your metal detector and do some poking around. You will find some cool stuff out here. So this is really cool. This is kind of a historic artifact on Tract 18. It's not far enough off the road easement to really use for camping or whatnot, but I mean, it's just cool to have it. And it gives you proof that this was part of the homestead and that there's definitely some cool stuff here if you dig around a little bit. This could be a little turnaround spot here on the east side of 18. And it's quite wide. I mean, it goes for quite a ways. It's on both sides, obviously, of that little road. And then there's the county road over there. Excellent spot to turn around. But yeah, extremely level. I mean, this one is nice. What we'll do now is we'll hop in and we'll back up and we'll go check out the rest of this property. You'll want to check out the drone video as well, and we'll do an intro video. InstantAcres.com, as always, for those. This road actually does continue through and meets up with the main easement road, but I'm just going to back out onto Marigold. I wish we had more time this summer to really, like this particular property, to open up a nice building site on the east side would just be stunning. The guys are doing a little work on the area down at the river, but I mean, that could be just a showstopper. It already looks really good, but with so many projects, we can't do it all. So the guys are roughing stuff in, and gives you the opportunity to kind of customize it, I guess. Okay, so we're on the east side. We're on Marigold Drive. We're heading north. That's the property, obviously. And after a few hundred feet, we'll be passing the property. And what we're going to do is we're going to go north about another quarter mile or so, and we're going to go left onto the gravel easement road that will take us down toward the west side of the property and the Niangua River, and we're going to check that out. Awesome area for wildlife. You will see deer and turkey and eagles and everything out here. We've seen it all in the last couple days out here. Beautiful. This section of the river that we're looking at is a white ribbon trout fishing section of river. There's just a 12-mile stretch on the Niangua that's designated as white ribbon trout fishing, so that is extremely awesome. They raise the trout in Bennett Springs State Park, which is, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles upriver, and they stock this section of river with rainbow trout and brown trout. But as I was talking to our guys who are working down on the river, I was down there a couple hours ago, and they were right on this tract working on it. We're about to go left onto the easement road. And they said they've been watching big bass jump and feed in the river all day right at the property. So obviously you get some nice bass fishing as well. Okay, so we go left, we go through this gate, and we're gonna follow this down the hill to the meadow area in the bottom. And when you come out here, you definitely want to print all the maps, just to have them in hand, because the first time or second time you drive out here, unless you've walked all the boundaries, it can certainly be confusing. I know I get turned around often. We will be more than happy to send you the MapRight link. So within the listing, we've got that interactive map, and we've been working with a company called MapRight for about a year, using their interactive map service, and it's been great. And the thing is, if you get the MapRight app, completely free app, just search for MapRight, all one word, and get that for your cell phone or your tablet, we can then have them email you the link for that specific interactive map. So you have to have email on whatever device has the app, and then we'll email you that link, or actually we'll have them email you the link. You'll open it up, it'll contain the link, and you'll click on that, and it will say, do you want to open this, I believe it says within your browser or within the app. And you will say within the app that you've downloaded, and then not only will that interactive map pop up, the same map that's on the listing page, but there will be a little colored dot to indicate right where you are. It works off the GPS on your phone. So that is utterly fantastic for driving to the property, for walking the boundaries. I mean, it's great. It's not 100% concise. It's not meant to be a survey, but it is based upon the survey for these properties, so it's actually fairly accurate. Okay, so now we've made it to the bottom. You can see this beautiful open meadow. There's the power again. We've come to a T. We can go left to right. We're going to go left, and then after about 100 feet, we're going to take another left onto the secondary easement road. You can see some of the equipment down here. The guys have been working away the last couple weeks. Bobcat over there. Okay, so that's the secondary easement road. There we go. So we're in the bottom area. We got to the bottom. We went left. We went about 100 feet. And now we're going to take another left onto the secondary easement road. And that's going to take us to that, trying to get my map situated here. I get turned around, to that west side of the property. And we're going to check out the river as well. I'm using the MapRight app, which is fantastic. Here's the little blue dot. Okay, let's do this. So we actually started on Marigold up here. We pulled onto the property here. We walked around a little bit, and now we've gone north on Marigold. Whoops. We went left onto the easement road. We followed that on down to the bottom field, took another left, and now we're about to take a left onto that secondary easement road. And that's what's going to take us, like I said, to that west side of the property. So be on the lookout for that. You probably won't see the Bobcat or the dump truck or whatnot, because they just happen to be out here while the guys are working. Like any gravel easement road, a truck or an SUV is, excuse me, definitely recommended. It's good to have that clearance. I know the guys are gonna do some grading and smoothing here, but even so, you can never predict the weather, and if it's wet or rutted or whatever, it's nice to have that extra clearance that a truck or an SUV provides. We started off with a bright, sunny summer day here in the Ozarks, and then it did get cloudy on us, but that's okay. It's midweek, so we probably won't have very much traffic on the river. That's generally more on Fridays and Saturdays and Sunday afternoons. Okay. so crossing over 17. On the way to 18. Yes. Had to get my bearings. Okay, so we're crossing over 17. And we'll be coming up on 18. Fully surveyed property with the lines marked, which is awesome. You'll see this post over here, so we're actually crossing onto 18. So now we're on tract 18. In a minute, we're gonna go right, and we'll go toward the west. The guys are obviously parked there right now, so they're out there working. And that's where we'll check out the river. What I'll do in the meantime, though, is I'm gonna park right here. And before we walk to the actual water, we'll take a look at this upper area. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, you've actually got a lot of different options. I mean, if it were me, I'd probably do some kind of cabin toward the river, but you're certainly not locked into that. I mean, this is a big property. You've got a beautiful area up here. You do have setbacks, obviously, from the easement road that you have to be aware of. But as we look toward the east, excuse me, it's just a gentle incline for about 150 feet, and then it gets less gentle. You can see that hillside there, and that's where we started. Is if you follow that hillside up, it'll flatten out, and eventually you'll hit Marigold. So we've got some good timber there. Up where I'm looking now would potentially be a really interesting building site, and you might have a view of the river when the leaves are off the trees. But we're actually going to walk toward the site where the guys have been working, and we're going to take a look at that. I don't have the survey map with me, so I don't know the exact amount of river frontage on 18. I believe it's around 200 feet, give or take a little bit, but you'll definitely want to check out the listing for the exact numbers on that. I do know it's a beautiful section of water. Okay, so now the site, this is what I would call the site on the river, I guess. The guys are out here cleaning out some brush and whatnot. But this was sort of picked because of its location right at the river. Got a gentle slope to it. And then you can see the water down there in the distance. So you've got more than enough room to build over here, pull in your RV or whatnot. Got some old stumps you might want to be aware of. I don't know if those are coming out or not, but just be aware that those are there. That's just a brush pile that the guys are removing. The dirt work was just done within the last couple days, so within a year or two, when the grass and everything takes over, it'll be green again. But right now, that's why the raw dirt is there. There you can see the river right there. Can't quite walk to it yet, but I'm sure they're going to clean out these limbs and stuff, and then you could literally walk right to the water. Much of the frontage sets over the water 5 or 10 feet, but this looks like a little natural area where you can actually walk right to the river itself, which is pretty cool. Check out the drone video. We'll do obviously a drone video that shows the frontage as well. But to find something on the Niangua, excuse me, in the trout fishing section, literally overlooking the river with the actual frontage, if you've been looking, then you know how rare that is. Let's walk right down to the water and we'll check this out. Oh. What's up, guys? slopes down on this last part. That's what's going to get you your view of the water. And as we get right to the water on this particular portion, it's probably 8 or 10 feet above the river. So that gives you a nice view. And to walk down to the water would be that spot where I just was. Certainly if you were here with a piece of equipment, well, you can hear the equipment off in the distance, and that's what Obi's working on, is doing a nice little site to the water on a different property that someone has purchased already. So tract 18, check it out at InstantAcres.com. You can check out the drone video, all the other good stuff, the interactive map. That's the Barclay Conservation Area right there. So over 400 acres for hunting and recreation, and a couple extra miles of river frontage. Any questions, let us know. InstantAcres.com.